It is about to be a beautiful Friday morning in Eco, and that means it is almost weekend. For today's episode and the upcoming episodes, I would like to dive deeper into the cooking, baking, and we're going to unlock all of the skill books with it. Now, I also got something to say about yesterday's no upload, but before doing all of this stuff, I just want to say thank you, Xavier Lupin, for giving a suggestion for a street name. So your name, Black Rock Highway, is now onto this sign right down here, and I think you wanted to be called Black Rock Highway, probably because of the stockpiles right down here. And I think it's a good idea because a highway means a faster way to a location rather than driving all the way around and taking a long amount of time. And this road here is mainly being built so you can get faster to the farm area and probably end up to the area down here. But I got two more streets left. You can give it a name. Street number 1 is this street down here with the large office building that is going to be built at the end of this street. So if you know something for that, name it into the comment section. I will put it onto the sign with your name. And as you can see in the far distance, this street is also left, which will go into the coal mine and the wet tailing area. If you know a nice name for this street, also let me know down below in the comment section. Be quick because sooner or later all the names or all the streets will be named already. And if you want to be a part of this series, you want to, get close together, give it a nice name. Alright, for the future though, there will be one more street added, which is this street down here, which will go all the way to the beet area and or the cotton area. So you will have later on another chance to name one more street. And I think that will be that for now. So far, I don't have any other planning on roads. And there she comes up, the beautiful sun. Now, yesterday I didn't upload anything. Now, what I will do in the future, because even my girlfriend was saying, hey, why is there no upload for today? Is in the future, which will be very rare that it happens, I will just upload a video saying, yo guys, today no upload, but on Sunday, I will compromise it by uploading another video because I only want to have one day no upload. So you will get another upload this Sunday, but I think it would be handy to be honest and let you guys know there will be no upload. So you're not maybe continuously refreshing the browser or whatever. Yesterday I really felt good, but I also feel like, I wanna be a rebel. I don't wanna have any responsibilities. I wanna just be lazying around and just do lazy stuff. With that being said, let's get into the cooking. Now, in order to not get all too confused with the cooking, let me just explain you what I mean. Is there are a lot of cooking stuff which you can craft, which is basically going to be a lot of fun for role-playing aspects. If you have like a birthday party, you're gonna cook a pie. If you want to have a pancake restaurant, you can use the pancakes, steakhouse for steaks, a bakery for all the bakery stuff, etc. Things like that. But what I am going to need in this single player series is the best food combination in order to not to have to eat too much in order to fill up all these calories. Because every time you level up, you can have more and more and more calories into your calorie ring. So you have to eat lesser and lesser after you click on the work button in order to add those calories to the working station. Something like that. So I want to take it easy just a little bit. And what I want you guys to do is suggest me as much as combinations or foods that I'm going to need to try into the comment section. Because it will be a little bit messy for me trying to figure this all out on camera. But you guys can help me out with this if you know it. I will try myself to do a little bit of researching too. Now, before we actually can craft stuff and going to go back to the cooking stations, I want to see what I'm going to need in order to unlock the baking skill book, the milling skill book, the advanced baking skill book and the advanced cooking skill book. Now I already have the normal skill book of cooking because I needed it for the campfire and I just needed to heat up my tomatoes so I could get a little bit extra out of it. I done the same with the beets. I believe the hamburgers can be done basic. immediately, if you would. Like if you just start the game, you can already cook these hamburgers. And there is nothing really, as I can find, about these huckleberries. But it's time to move on. I need a lot more because I need to click way too much time onto these huckleberries in order to fill this all up. So what I think is a good idea is to first unlock the baking and milling before going to the advanced stuff, because the advanced stuff need these yellow papers, which is one step higher than these white ones. Now this is a culinary research paper basic. I already checked out all of these white papers with a dish and a fork and a knife. Now the funniest thing is, if I would scroll up all the way to those papers, there are actually 3 of them. But all of these skill books actually only show culinary research paper basic. None of them actually show the one with fish or the meat, which makes me think it is an optional to choose which one you would like to make. Now in my case, what would be the best thing to do is actually use hamburger meat, because hamburger meat is thing number 1 that I'm not really going to need to be using anymore, because there is something that is already better than charred meat. We need to go to the cooking house, make a couple of these hamburgers, and then use them in order to craft culinary research paper basics. Now I would just like to show you what I meant with the role-playing options of food and or the things that I'm really going to need. That it is so much to choose from. Like, you got this whole list with all kinds of foods. Now the thing that I do want to avoid the most is actually use fat type of deals, because fat type of deal, tallow, render fat, whatever name they all give it, is going to be super handy in order to make biodiesel. I also got scrap meat, and I thought scrap meat, look at this balance. What if we can cook scrap meat into cooked scrap meat? Apparently there is no cooked scrap meat. Scrap meat is like one of the ingredients in order to make something else. And which is a shame, because the balance is very nice. If you need to eat this, it only gives 50 calories. It is not much. Now I have something that is way more better than the hamburger meat. That is this stuff. Campfire roast. Campfire roast gives 16-12. This gives 6-9. So it's a massive boost on the protein and a little bit extra on the fat, which is very nice. Now of course we have fresh tomatoes, which gives 5-1-2, and then cherry tomatoes, which gives 7-1-4. So the protein, if you put it in the campfire, will stay the same. The only thing that goes up is 2 points on the carbs, and I believe 2 points on the vitamins. It is gonna be something to figure out for me in order to say, okay, I'm going to need to have 3 type of meals or maybe 2 type of meals, and that is gonna be it for the whole game. Oh god. We got 88 raw meats, and we're going to grab at least 66 of them, and we're going to put them into the campfire and make some delicious hamburgers. Alright, so the hamburgers are getting made for the milling and the basic baking. Now, like I said, I got so many options in the campfire, but if you look at this, we got a plenty amount of options here to do too. Now, I do have a comment, which I believe was from Xavier, also saying that the elk Wellington is a good food to use. If you look at, like it is a lot. But apparently in this game, which I didn't know, or knew, better to say, is if you eat too much of the same, it can cause a side effect. Don't know if that is true, but it's apparently a thing, alright? And my main problem is how am I going to balance it out? Because if I eat this, and then my protein and or carbs will at some point be way more than the other two, which is protein. Yeah, protein and vitamins will be way lesser than the carbs and the fat. So now, if I would make this, I'm going to need to have something that will add up the vitamins and the protein only. And then it's gonna be a matter of looking at all of those foods and trying to figure out which one only gives protein and vitamins. And this can be a very confusing thing at the beginning. Wait a minute. Baked meat, 1317, 1612. Oh, I get it. It's just one gives more fat and less protein, and this one gives more protein rather than fat. Ay. And then we have this kitchen type of deal, which also has a lot more food. And then it just gives me such a error in my brain trying to, I need to keep in mind that I'm going to do something with more protein and vitamin rather than fat and carbs. Like, holy moly. It took me also a little while to figure out those 4 foods. You really have to excuse me for this. So let me just, put this in here. Maybe I can explain it way more better. I don't know why I'm carrying these beets with me. Without the beets, this is a good balanced food, right? Because this gives more fat than protein. If I have too much fat and too less protein, I would just eat these ones. These ones only have protein, and I would keep eat them, and then at some point I have too much carb. In order to balance the too much carb, I would just eat berries, because berries have more vitamins, and then at some point the vitamins and the carbs can be balanced out, and then, I probably have this. What I have right now here is I got too much vitamins, while the protein and fat is kind of aimed out. I just need a little bit more protein. Now the handiest thing is eat these guys, because these guys gives protein only and more carbs than vitamin, which means that I can balance out the red one. Of course, at some point the red one and green one will be balanced out again, which means I can focus on to the protein and fat, which means the circle goes around. I will just start eating hamburgers until the protein is too much. Then I would eat tomatoes in order to balance out the protein with the fat, which at some point my vitamins will be more than the carbs, which I will start eating these ones to balance out those two again, and then I go back to the protein and fat. So, to be real honest, it took me a little while playing this game in order to figure out a good menu. Now, I still don't know why I got these beets. Probably those beets were a little bit of a mistake to carry around. This is a pretty good basic combination of meals, because each of these can balance each other out. But when you're level 27, you're going to need to eat so much huckleberries that it's a pain up the butt. Now, I wonder, is there a huckleberry pie? Well, we got huckleberry extract. Only gives vitamins and no more. Wait a minute. That is exactly what I need, because I only use the huckleberries for the vitamins. So I could say, put this one away, add in huckleberry extract, which can give 15. Now that would be, even more nicer balance. But the problem is, the amount of stuff that I'm going to need to eat is so much that it's becoming too much of a work, because this only gives 60 calories. Sometimes I am giving away 10 to 50,000 calories on a work order, so you can imagine I need to click 200 times on this guy in order to fill it back up, which is a lot. Okay, that's a lot. But the campfire roast, turns the protein and the fat around, so I'm going to need to 1612. Yeah, it turns it completely around with the hamburger, so my whole thing here is not correct anymore. Now I'm going to need to turn the show around, which basically means, let me see, that the beets would replace the tomatoes, because instead of protein, I'm going to need to fill up on fat, right? The only problem is the amount of carbs is way lower than the tomatoes. So now I'm going to need something that rather fills up my carbs than the vitamins. Oh man. So now I'm going to need to find something different than the beets that could provide fat. But there's almost nothing that has fat. Yeah, as you can see, this meal does have more fat than protein. Problem is beets. I mean, elk Wellington does contain more fat than protein. It has some carbs. I could combine the elk Wellington with the campfire roast. I mean, campfire roast gives 1,000 calories per bite. The elk Wellington gives 1,400 calories per bite. Now, the only thing that I'm going to need to figure out is something that gives more vitamins rather than carbs. Something with vitamins and fat. That's kind of a weird combination, I would say. But we have fruit tart, or yeah, well, yeah, that's not gonna do it too. Or maybe it is. I mean, from the fat, I just need a lot in order to balance out the protein. This one has a little bit more fat. This huckleberry pie has definitely more fat. The huckleberry pie definitely has more vitamins, which can balance out the carbs, which I get too much of this one. So we could maybe do a combination of elk Wellington, the huckleberry pie, and or the campfire roast. Then it's 3 foods only that can all balance each other out. Maybe that will be a good idea. Maybe I just figured it all out right now. Still, I would like to hear your opinion on stuff. Alright, Mr. Culinary Mate. I was expecting to craft a lot more of 70 meat though, but sure, it is what it is. Alright, so we have the milling skill book. Yes, one of them please. And the baking skill book will be right up here. Also in yes. Yes indeed. So what I think the best thing to do is just learn those books on screen, you know, show you actually that I'm unlocking this stuff, and then I would say leave it with that. Then tomorrow I would like to make something different between in, because I had like a comment asking to show more about the roads, and I have a tip for when you play single player. You can save up some more time. Some of you guys already seen it, that certain parts were not digged out for a road, but rather the road has been placed onto the land. The reason why I would like to put that episode also up is to give you guys some time to play some comments on what you guys think that is a good combination. Maybe you have seen a video of someone explaining it already, or maybe you have figured out it yourself because you're playing the game. You know, something like that.